We are getting closer. I can feel it in my bones to a Mortal Kombat 12 reveal. Of course, with the recent tease from Ed Boon, I have to give a hand to Ed Boon and his team. They are getting better and better at these tweets and teases. Of course, getting our hopes up because we're getting ever so close to a reveal. But with the recent one that they came out with today, as far as, well, as of this recording, it'll be yesterday, but the recently, the clock. We've had a lot of clues coming up. Ed Boon posted back in March the tick, 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 supposedly 12 ticks, whatever it was. And that got people thinking. And then now we had the Sands of Time thing, and then the last screen of sand exploding, and what could that mean? And now we have a clock, it's like, what time is it? It's just getting crazy, and everybody's like trying to speculate, what does this mean? What could the clues be leading up to? And right now they're pointing to potentially, well, a couple things. It could be either a reboot. Are we doing another reboot? Because, well, if you see in the clip, and I'm kind of continually playing through this video, it's going from 9 to 10 to 11, and then it's going to go to 12, and then it skips and goes to one, but then it's explosion again, another explosion. So I've seen some interesting theories online. I kind of want to go over some of those, but they're thinking either maybe a reboot, maybe it's a continuation of Mortal Kombat 11 as far as more of a multiverse catastrophe of some kind, possibly in correlation with Shang Tsung's ending. Maybe he won after all. I kind of have an interesting theory about that I thought seems pretty cool. And then, of course, again, more clues as far as when we can get a reveal and when maybe now the game will actually release. So let's get through all that. So, in talking about possibly a reboot, we know that Mortal Kombat has been rebooted multiple times. We go through these timeline sessions, and then they reboot, and then they reboot. So it's been about 3 generations of games, right? So we have 9, 10, and 11, and 11 and a half, really. So, yeah, would it be time for a reboot? But, bear with me. I think that if it's going to be a reboot, I think it's going to be like a soft reboot, right? So I think what's interesting about what happened in the Mortal Kombat 11 is, we went back in time and we kind of started over, right? That was the goal. Liu Kang and Kitana are trying to go back to the very beginning, not so much around the very first Earth tournament, but the time where Kung Lao has the opportunity to win tournaments and hopefully through this, process not die. I'm pretty sure that's what they're trying to achieve, and just maintain peace throughout all the realms. That's what their goal is. So in doing that, you'd be rebooting the timeline, because anytime you change something, the effects change, what happens throughout time, because obviously if we're going way back then, events of certain Mortal Kombats wouldn't have to happen, right? So it's very interesting. That's a good concept. Now, in doing that, you would be able to keep kind of the current structure of characters, but you just kind of be doing things a little bit differently. I kind of think about it more of like the MCU, and kind of like what happened with Guardians of the Galaxy, where, you had a different version of Gamora and all this kind of other stuff, just like an example. But you could have that kind of different set of characters. So we could have different versions of Scorpion and Sub-Zero and all that kind of stuff. Even if that stuff still occur, they could still be behind and all that. Anyway, it's just interesting stuff to think about. And that's, and all these speculations, whether it be a reboot, a multiverse continuation, or even like Shang Tsung winning, I kind of like all these ideas. I'd be fine with all of them. I don't know if I'd be necessarily excited for a complete redo, like that was it, now we're going to start completely over from scratch. I guess I would. I mean, I would really be down for anything as long as the story's good, but I feel like this is a good opportunity to kind of build upon what was already established, and I think that, there's a lot of story left to tell. I still think there is. So that's one option, is it's going to be a reboot. And I kind of feel like this really leads to some consequences for Liu Kang. So if we go with that route, maybe we can still continue with Mortal Kombat 11 and have more of like a consequences of what Liu Kang has done, which I've talked about in past videos already. We've had leaks that have come out that have talked about it, but more of the multiverse collapse or multiverse consequence. So he's made changes to time, but he doesn't really know what he's doing, right? He just thinks he's trying to do things for the better, but maybe in messing up the timeline, he's messed up other timelines, and that causes something bad to happen. So I mean, that's what we're going to see, is the more of the aftermath, aftermath 2.0 of what Liu Kang has done. Even though he had good intentions, he's trying to do the better, he's trying to be better, but sometimes you just can't do that. And I think that, as we've talked about in past videos, especially like if Shinnok comes back, or if some force gets involved and is able to you know, pull people astray and make them do bad things, it's always going to be the same story. Just different people can do it in different times in the timeline it could happen, but you'll still get the same effect over again, that kind of butterfly effect thing. So maybe we could go that route. Or this theory that keeps coming up now recently is, you know, maybe Shang Tsung won. We thought Liu Kang did, but maybe Shang Tsung won in the end. I've seen a lot of videos come out recently where they describe, you know, maybe, you know, I saw like I think at the thingy was putting like a video on a Twitter, like he put these kind of stitched everything together, like with the clock ticking, and he had like Liu Kang and Shang Tsung together, like these kind of two clips playing in sync, and when the clock hit boom, you know, Shang Tsung says it has begun. So maybe Shang Tsung planned this all along. Maybe he like tricked, you know, this is my running theory, you know, share yours down in the comments down below, but maybe Shang Tsung knew this was going to happen all along. Maybe he knew that he was going to let Liu Kang go back in time, make a mistake, and that would just allow him to, maybe somehow he knew, you know, because the Shang Tsung that we have, you know, he went back in time. I mean, it's kind of, the way they do things is very confusing, and it's kind of like how they did like the Marvel movies. Like time travel is very, very complex, and you know, you kind of make up your own rules as you go. So maybe somehow Shang Tsung knew this was going to happen, and he wanted it to happen so that maybe he wanted to change things too. Maybe he wanted to change things in his favor. You know, at the same time period, Shang Tsung has won 9 tournaments. If we're going back that far, at the time we're coming out. So maybe Shang Tsung knows that's going to happen, and he wants to make it to where he can change the outcome of his own future and make him emperor or make him in charge. You know, why wouldn't you want to do that? So maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something on. So maybe Shang Tsung is aware of what Liu Kang has done or what's going to happen, and so he's welcoming a reboot or a going back in time and starting from the beginning, but with the knowledge for all the franchises forward. It'd just be kind of, I think that'd be an interesting take, an interesting story to kind of dive into. And I would love to see us get new characters and, you know, kind of be able to build upon that. So let me know your thoughts down below, what you think about what the clock really represents as far as what story going forward we could get with Mortal Kombat. Do you want it to be a reboot? Do you want it to be a continuation of Mortal Kombat 11 and Aftermath as far as maybe consequences from Liu Kang's actions? Or do you think it could be the flip where Shang Tsung actually won and we're going to be kind of dealing with whatever comes from that, or Liu Kang's storyline, but a little bit of what Shang Tsung already, you know, has in his involvement? What do you think about that? So that's what we have as far as a story. Now, another part of this is, does the clock represent anything else as far as when we're getting an actual official reveal and a release for Mortal Kombat 12 or whatever they decide to call it? I still think that May. Now, we've talked about this in multiple videos. I've done videos where we've talked about kind of throughout the year where we could get a reveal, a release, but we're thinking probably in the spring or summer. That's kind of like we're getting there, like more content's coming out, so we're thinking we're getting closer. And I think with Ed Boon, you know, really kind of poking us with this little teasing stick, like here we go, I think we're getting close. So there's been a couple of things thrown out there. You know, I think someone said from the clock picture there was a 9 out of 12. So is it May 12th? Is it May 12th? That's possible. It's Friday. That's really close, though. That'd be this Friday. But maybe. We also have someone was saying, you know, if you do the amount of click for the second hand or the minute hand or whatever it says, you know, it adds up to May 26th. So, or something around the PlayStation Showcase date. I was like, okay, well, we talked about that in a previous video. That could probably be correct. So maybe it's going to be that. So we have something along the lines in May. So get another week or two. In the next 2 weeks, we probably could have something. That's what we're thinking as far as a reveal. Now, what's interesting now is we have stuff with like, oh, well, the hand was on the 9 and the 12, so that means September 12th. Okay, so now we have supposedly a release date. Well, we know stuff usually comes out in October, so we're saying fall. Let's just stay safe and say fall. Probably not August, but let's say September, October, we might get a release. I still think that's kind of too soon. I could be wrong, but I think that that's still not enough time in between to have the game come out. So I think that we will get a reveal in the summer, and I think we'll get stuff sprinkled throughout the year, and I think next year we'll get actual release. But that's my own personal. But that's the running theory. What do you think about this tease? Does it get you excited? What are your own theories about what the story represents? Do you think we're going to get a May reveal at the PlayStation Showcase or some other time? And do you think that September is going to be the new release date for Mortal Kombat 12 or whatever they're going to call it? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. That's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed that like button, Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.